If you're like between a third and one half of the US population, you may be getting your news about current events from your social media platforms. But while social media is a great way to stay connected to friends and social networks and to share your own opinions and anecdotes, when it comes to the use of social media to get and share news reports, there are a lot of problems. First, you may not be getting the whole story because it's just a screenshot, a quote, or a little clip from part of a bigger story. It's been taken out of context, and without the surrounding facts and explanations, the original meaning is distorted or lost. Second, nowadays it's hard to tell the difference between real news and humor, and people may be sharing inaccurate, incomplete, or misleading information just because they think it's funny. Third, it may actually be fake news, a type of disinformation or falsehood created by people who want to manipulate users' opinions on certain topics toward their own objectives. Real news reporters or journalists work very hard to make sure you have all the information, regardless of their personal feelings, so you can make informed decisions. That's why you need to verify before you share. The goal of this tutorial is to help you understand ways to safeguard against relying on and spreading misinformation through your social media networks. Let's say your friend just sent you a screenshot of a so-called current event story that looks like it came from a reputable news source. The headline reads, "COVID vaccine recipients become cannibals," with a picture of a gruesome, ravaged, blood-soaked emergency room that looks like it came from a zombie apocalypse movie. Your first thought is to share this story with your social networks. It's definitely shocking, unique, bizarre. Maybe you already agree with the underlying, though false, idea that COVID-19 vaccine is dangerous. Or maybe you just think it's funny. Your first step is to authenticate the source. Check to see if they actually made the claims and then confirm their credibility. Does the source have expert credentials? Does the source directly state their process for obtaining and the standards to validate the evidence they report? If you can't verify the credentials of the source, don't trust it. Next, check to see if the information can be proved or disproved based on verifiable factual evidence. Credible fact-checking websites may have already done this work for you, but you can also look to see if you can find the original evidence for the claim. If you can't verify the evidence, don't trust it. The best way to verify information is to see if the information is confirmed by a variety of credible sources, even by sources that hold views that are different from yours, or a source you might not typically turn to. Don't just read for clues within the post that the information or source is credible. That's called vertical reading. Leave the post and check other sources that can confirm or discredit the factual evidence and that can confirm the credibility of original and expert sources. That's called lateral reading. In other words, don't fall prey to confirmation bias or the tendency to search for, interpret, and recall information in a way that supports what we already believe. In the case of the vaccine cannibal story, analysis from a fact-checking site found that it was not a story reported by a credible news source and that the photograph was from an opinion piece written a few years ago by a medical student for another newspaper about treating the victims of gun violence. The bottom line is that just because it's shared doesn't mean it's true or the whole story, that it's accurate and current information. It's up to all of us to make sure we verify before we share.